This has been my home for the last 12 hours. If you like small towns, if you like antique stores, if you like handcrafted treasures, let me show you around the small town of Micanopy, Florida. And this is why I travel in a camper van. This was the Grady National Bank for the Hollywood movie Doc Holliday, produced in 1991, and it's still a pretty handsome building today. Many of the buildings along Main Street come from the early 1900s and late 1880 period. Micanopy, 1821 to 2021. Named for Seminole Chief Micanopy. This is the Mountain Garage, built in 1913. Apparently it had Mr. Chandler owned one of only 2 cars in town at the time. It was a filling station and with bus station stop, and the original roof was replaced from a storm in the 1970s. Great facade, right? Consider staying to the end of the video because I give you the 2 reasons I really like this town and the 1 reason you might want to pass. So this is the only place in town where you can get a glass of beer or a glass of wine, famous for the chicken salad. Let's go in. They're hiring if you're looking for a job. Live music, super cool. Right next door from that is this, and this place is cool. Just chat with the owner. We're gonna go in and show you this. These folks have some vegan food, I am told, and a really great seating area. They have Wi-Fi under a magnificent live oak tree. The owner, I am told, spoke with her. She wants to do some van life. This is the Old Florida Cafe. So I hope you're enjoying this tour of tiny town Micanopy, Florida. It's the oldest continuously inhabited community in interior Florida. It has a population of 600 residents today. Properties for sale are actually kind of expensive considering where you are and what's going on around you. Their motto is, the town that time forgot. And I would kind of agree with that. In 1774, that would be 2 years before the Declaration of Independence, Micanopy was first declared in literature by white settlers. The Seminole Indian tribe had lived here for many, many years before that, though. In 1821, Spain ceded Florida to the United States. And if you've been to St. Augustine, they like to build themselves as the oldest town in the United States. This would be a close second. The name Micanopy, kind of hard to say, actually came from the Seminole tribe chief. It was an honor given to him to help quell some of the insurrection from the native Seminole tribe folks. In 1983, this entire area was listed on the National Register of Historic Places. Pretty cool. So some notable facts about this area. One would be the author, Marjorie Kinnick Rawlings, wrote 2 books that you may be familiar with. One is The Yearling, the other being Cross Creek. The town of Cross Creek is very close to Micanopy, and her house is now actually a house museum. Second notable, let me throw this name at you, see if you recognize this one. River Phoenix. You might be more familiar with his brother, Joaquin Phoenix. And River Phoenix was becoming a well-known actor, largely from his debut in a famous movie, Stand By Me. Unfortunately, he died, River Phoenix, from a drug overdose in Los Angeles in 1993. He was born in 1970, so he died pretty young, had a really compelling acting career that started again with Stand By Me, and then one of his most famous movies, My Own Private Idaho, in which he starred with Keanu Reeves. Ever heard of The Matrix? Yeah, Keanu Reeves as a really young guy. And 2 movies have been made in this area. One from the book from Rawlings, and that would be Cross Creek. That was made in 1983. And Doc Hollywood was shot here in Micanopy in 1991. Let's keep moving around. The Episcopal Church got quite a few worship services. Stunning building, simplistic, iconic red door. But what's kind of cool is around the corner. This is the memory garden. So instead of graves, which is typical of a old church, these folks have put niches in for folks to visit the remains of their loved ones. What do you prefer, burial or cremation? Just curious. For me, a small town like Micanopy, Florida, population 600, is the perfect destination for a camper van traveler. Why? Because my Winnebago Travato 59 GL is equipped with everything I need to have a lovely travel experience in my own camper van. I don't need a motel. I don't need to go find a toilet. I can cook my own meal. I can make my own coffee. I can sleep very comfortably with air conditioning. Let me show you around the interior of my van really quick so you can see the importance of having a floor plan that enables your why you want to travel, and as importantly, how the floor plan enables your why. Let me show you. What makes this floor plan so special to me and so functional for the way I want to travel is huge permanent table extension. With the seat spun around, I can get 1, 2, 3 4, maybe even 5 people around this table for a meal, drinks, cards, full-size galley fridge, freezer, microwave, tons of storage, make coffee in the morning. I can do all my business right here with a real bathroom. Real meaning flushing toilet, sink, and shower. And that's important because in a town like this, there are no services available unless you leave town. So doing your business in the middle of the night, and your big business, that'd be the number 2, first thing in the morning, not a problem. This is a 4x6 Murphy bed. It lays down like this. So a very large bed surface, and then garage storage in the back of the van with tons of storage up above. And my rig is equipped with a very powerful lithium system. So if I need to run the air conditioner, I can do that for about 10 hours off my Volta Pure 3 lithium system. And if I'm making coffee, I simply push a button and I'm pulling off of the lithium battery. Mine has about 9,000 watts of storage available, and I'm doing 110 volt appliances, including AC, without the need for a noisy generator. Fortunately, it's pretty warm in the day here in the low 80s, but by nighttime it cools off to the high 50s, which is perfect RVing weather. And by keeping the van in the shade during the day, it cools off really nicely at night. Here's a cool van tip for you. In hot weather and in endless summer Florida, going to be 80 today, the tip is to keep your camper van out of the sunlight. We've measured the skin of my van in heat, that'd be the sunlight, and it's about 130 degrees on the exterior. We measure the other side where it's in the shade, and it's in the 90s, low 90s. So tip to keep cool in summer weather is to keep your van in the shade. And again, we got the okay that this is okay for overnight parking. This is where I prefer because again, you're in the shade under this amazing live oak. You're not near anybody's residence. And I had no hassles last night calling this cute town home for the night. So do you see anything kind of unusual about this? Hidden in plain sight, right? Yeah, tiny cabin under the main roof of the big barn. Pretty cool, antique store. Let's check it out. Okay, so we're getting the story on the cabin here. So this is local artists. This has been open since 2005, so you do the math. The cabin was built in the 20s, and are you ready for this? It was actually a restaurant in the 1940s. There it is, and there's the restaurateur. Let me show you around in here quick. It's got some really amazing stuff, including spoon rings and bracelets, which I'm going to check out here in a minute. But again, this is what I love about small towns, is you get to see artistry in action. And it's these kind of businesses I like to support. Look at the little pull-out tray. I don't know about you, but I just love to support the artistry, the artist. Very reasonably priced. Super cool stuff. Problem with van life is you can't really put much in the van, so if you got a home base, this is kind of a cool way to buy for your house when you step into these little places. It's so great. So one thing pointed out that I completely missed is this indentation in the wall. Want to guess that was for? When this was a restaurant, that's where they served the black folks. They had to stay outside. Looking at the cabin from the outside, here we can see the service for the colored folks, as was normally called back then. So glad things have changed these days. All right, let's go over here to this antique store. So this is pretty cool. This building was heavily featured in the Doc Hollywood movie with Michael J. Fox, and the owner gave me a couple of pointers around here, so we'll go back and show you those. Are you a fan of Michael J. Fox? You know he did Back to the Future, right? I gotta go see Doc Hollywood now because I'm standing in the place where that movie was filmed. Let me show you the inside. So this was the actual building used in the movie, and as he pointed out, this is the actual intercom that was used in the movie. So Michael J. Fox, or somebody famous, was speaking into that very box. Now what's interesting is, this currently is an antique store. This was the garage for the Doc Hollywood movie. This cabin was a restaurant in the movie as well. And here comes the kitty. Hi, kitty, kitty, kitty. What's up? Kitty, kitty, kitty? Yeah, not concerned at all. All right, let me show you inside. Gift items, including a very early Apple computer. LOL. Did you see it? Child inside. Drive with care. Coming from the log cabin, more movie memorabilia. This building here, which kind of is an antique store, looks pretty dilapidated. This was actually the hospital in the movie Doc Hollywood, and across the street, that two-story brick building was the butcher shop. Have you seen Doc Hollywood? Let me know. I'm going to go rent it because this was the whole town heavily featured in Doc Hollywood. If I didn't mention it, you're touring around in one of the 12 cutest towns in America, as stated by the Huffington Post. I'm going to show you this store. This is super great. Micanopy is the name of the town, and this is how you say it. I keep screwing it up. Micanopy. This is great. Wait till you see this. Bachi! Bachi, say hi. Everything in the store is made by a craftsperson. This is Carolyn and Helen's store. And again, I just think this is so cool to meet the maker and see their passion in living form. They do not sell online because everything is one of a kind. So if you're wanting to see something, you sort of need to come to town. You're welcome to call the store. They do have an internet presence on Facebook. Helen makes all the tie-dye. So a couple of historical tidbits. This building was actually the general merchandise store from the 1880s. Most of that's gone, cradle beams. But there's a couple things to point out. This door went to the back, and this is where coffins were made. And upstairs is where the caretaker lived. So he would come down the stairs, make a coffin, and because it was the general store, everything from crib to coffin was sold in the store. And Carolyn mentioned that these dividers were not there during the time of the store, so this was a very large building taking up the entire ground floor. So give these folks a shout out when you get to town. Micanopy, so amazing. Hey, if we're meeting for the first time, howdy. My name is Scott. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Go Small, Live Large, all about the camper van travel experience. What we do here is we provide you information and a little entertainment on places to take your camper van tours, products for your camper van, and tips to make you a better camper van traveler, whether you're still researching, taking trips of days, weeks, or months, or even a full-time traveler like myself. Now starting my 5th year of full-time travel in my Winnebago Travato 59 GL. Thanks for watching. And if you're wondering, that store is where I found this amazing piece of gypsum illuminated from inside that now decorates my van. Love small towns. So 2 things I like about Micanopy and 1 thing I don't. Would I recommend it for you? I would recommend it for you if you're traveling up and down the middle of the state, Orlando, Ocala, Gainesville area of Florida. Why? Because it's just such a part of the historical tapestry that makes Florida what it was then and what it is today. And it's old Florida, which means it's not overrun by a bunch of tourist stuff. So you get a little bit of flavor of what it used to be like. Reason number 2 is there is just enough to do for a quick overnighter or an all-day situation. I did verify with Town Hall that it's okay to park on the street overnight. I showed them my camper van, so that's been verified. Was very, very quiet overnight. A little too quiet for my taste. And what I don't like about it is, and this is very subjective, I agree, is there's really not a lot to do after like 5 p.m. It literally shuts down at 5 p.m. There's no restaurants open, there's no bars open, there's no saloons, there's really nothing to do after 5. So if you're an early bird, you will love this little town. But there are so many things to do during the day. The other thing I would recommend and caution against is all the action really is happening Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So many of the stores, while open some of the days front end of the week, everything's pretty much open on the weekend. So plan accordingly and come visit Micanopy, Florida. Super cute town. And down below we'll put all the resources for the town and some of the stores so you can check out that merchandise and support the local artists and the local merchants, not the big guy, Amazon. So I hope you enjoyed that video. I just love showing this town to you. Micanopy, I'm gonna get it right at some point. But this is what we do. Subscribe to the channel if you like this kind of content, and we like to say journey on and peace be with you. We'll see you soon. So after a full morning of recording, it's time for a little lunch, chicken salad, cold beer, working channel business, and enjoying the patio and the live music. To me, this is what camper van travel is all about. It's exploration, checking off curiosity and seeing history and meeting the great people that make this country so great. And some of the architecture and the history, good and bad, that's what it's all about for me, and I hope it is for you as well. And keep eating. Thanks for watching.